Hi, welcome to Fleet Forming and Fleet Information 101. Today's lesson is going to be about how to form a fleet and what all the information is about. It's also handy if you are joining a fleet to know what everything is used for. So, first off the bat, what is a fleet? A fleet is a group of pilots that are actually going to fly together. They can use game interface to make it that much more easy to work together. It shows who's with you, who you can warp towards, and a lot of more nifty things that I'm going to go over really soon. So, how to form a fleet? Well, as a fleet commander, if you want to start a fleet and you're all alone, you just right click your name and press the button Form Fleet With. You'll see that you get a new chat channel called Fleet. Now this is the chat channel for the fleet. Now most fleets don't use the chat channel that much but use voice comms. This is very important for a fleet so you can react really fast on certain situations. Also, you'll see that right next to it you have another window, and is your fleet window. This is the interface window which you're going to use as a fleet commander quite a lot. So, first off, how to open your fleet, how to set your fleet advertisement. So, right click Fleet Actions. So in the fleet window, top left corner, you've got those small lines, right click it. And at the bottom, you'll see Create Advert. Now in there you can modify it as you will. It will set it standard to your last fleet, which is in my case default Cormorant fleet. Let's make it a Volva Destroyer room. Below you can give a little description of what your fleet is about. I usually don't put it in description but in the MOTD. Then you get a couple selection boxes. Box number 1 is Open Fleet 2. So, is it open to my corporation, my alliance, standings, and so on? Now, in my case, I always set it open to corporation alliance without standings issues, because everybody in the corporation and alliance is usually friendly and you want them to join. Then you've got based on standings. Well, because we're in Providence, even neutrals should be able to fly with us. But I always put in based on standings good, and if neutrals want to join, I'll just invite them personally. This is done so that only the people you want can join, and not everybody that is in the vicinity will join the fleet or see the fleet. And very important if you're going to do a PvP fleet is hide details in advert. If your fleet's open for neutrals and you don't hide your advert, everybody will see what ships you are flying, where you are at, and so on. This will compromise your fleet. So always hide details. Now the above box is application required approval. Now if you select this, every time someone wants to join the fleet commander needs to confirm it. No problems with it if you have a very active fleet commander. I personally don't select it because everybody that wants to join can join in my opinion, and well, that would only slow down the process and people will lose interest. So when that's all selected, in the bottom you have submit, and there we go, we have a fleet advert. Now very important is if you think you're gonna have a big fleet, you can always create more squads, more wings, and so on for the fleet. Maximum size of the fleet is 250 members. Now for example, we're going to add more squads just because, and you do that by right clicking in the fleet box on the wing label and clicking add new squad. Um, Also very important is that when you are adding new squads while you're in this window is if you want to set it free move. Now if you're going to personally sort out your squads, your command positions and so on, then you don't have to do this. But if you've got a big fleet coming in and you don't know who's going to join, and you yourself are going to be for example in wing command or fleet command, but every squad needs boost, you need to set it to free move. So again, right click the bars in the top left corner, drop down to set free move. Now this will enable people, even if you're a normal squad member, to move from squad 1 to squad 2 to even squad command positions. So they will not be able to move to wing command positions. And now comes a very important feature, the MOTD. This is what fleet commanders use to add in as much information as they can about the fleet. Now how do you open that? In the fleet chat channel this time. Top left corner you've got a A-, A+. Next to it you've got a gear wheel. Right click the gear wheel. Left click the gear wheel. And you've got a couple things and you open the channel settings window. Now this is the MOTD, this is the message of the day. Now in here you type in the basic information of your fleet so that everybody joins. The first message they see is this message. Now they can already do everything they need to do if they see this message. If you don't do this, they will have to ask you every single detail about what they need to do. So in this case I'm doing a destroyer room. I already prepared it, so I'm doing a destroyer room. Form application is, for example, ZQZ. Ships are, because it's destroyer room, destroyers and below. Departure time is going to be 1800. Be advised that you either put in what time zone this is going to be at, or it's Eve time related. Eve time you find in the bottom left corner of your screen. The fleet commander is not necessarily to put it in there. I usually do, so fleet commander is going to be me. And the comms, as in which communication device you're going to use, is also very important, so that everybody needs to know, everybody knows where they need to be. When that's all set up, if you need to link something, you do it. You press OK, and it comes right into your chat channel. Now, as you can see, this is a very good information source if you join the fleet, and all the FCs will appreciate everybody that uses it, because it's so much questions less asked, and most vital information if you're just joining a fleet is already in there. Now, another very important thing is boosters. The fleet has certain set boosters and you need to position them. Now, for example, I'm alone in my fleet because I'm giving the lesson. One of the things you can do is a booster set in a squad command position only boosts the entire squad. A booster set into a wing command position boosts the entire wing only if every wing has a squad commander. So if the hierarchy is not completely filled out and you have a fleet booster, not everybody will be getting the boosts, which is very important if you want to do a good fleet. Also, make sure that if you have a scout, that he is not in a squad command position or a fleet command position or whatsoever, because otherwise it will again cripple the booster tree. You can modify people by right clicking their name and move member, and here you can change the location they need to be at. Now let's undock. We're going to show you a couple other things about fleets and then we're going to wrap this up. So one of the other things is very important is the broadcast window. So as you can see, this is the standard window you get. You don't see any nifty buttons or whatsoever. But If in the bottom right corner you press on the two arrows pointing upwards, you get an entire drop down box. Now in this drop down box you suddenly have some buttons in the bottom right, left, and one button in the bottom right. Now very important if you're going to use fleet broadcasts is to make sure that the bottom right button is pointing in all four directions. Very important so that everybody in the fleet gets your broadcast. If you have it pointing down, for example, only people in your current group will get it. Pointing up, only your superiors, and pointing always everybody in fleet. Now to your left hand side you'll see some buttons. Now the I is I spotted an enemy. As you can see, I have selected the station, so in that case the station is the enemy here. And the next button is logistical wise. Very important logistical wise is that if you need armor repairs, you press the button next to it, which is broadcast need armor, and you see the icon appearing on my ship. Now you don't see it in space, or you can see it someplace else, which is in history tab. As you can see in the tab history, you get a drop down box with all the broadcasts, and the last one is needs armor. In this history tab you can actually lock targets. So this allows the repairers or the Logi fleet to actually repair you. Make note that you only broadcast once when you get hit and don't overdo it, because otherwise if you do it multiple times it stacks up. And if an entire fleet does this, the rep is going to have one hell of a time looking for their reps. Next to it is the shield broadcast, the capacitor broadcast, I'm in position broadcast, need backup broadcast, and request that the fleet holds position. Also at location broadcast. Now, all these broadcasts are nice. The ones that you're going to use the most are going to be these two. I need armor and I need shields. The rest are usually going to be over voice comms. Now, very important for the fleet commander again is one other nifty tool. Where is my fleet? What are they flying? Well, you don't need to ask him everything. You can just right click the lines again on the fleet tab and press show fleet composition. And here you get a drop down box from every ship in your fleet with where they are at, what ship they are flying, what type of ship they are flying, in which position they are, what their skills are, and in what wing position or squad position they are. I hope you learned something. Thanks for joining today's lesson. Fly safe.